Ike is the defensive unit that we needed and deserved. He's a powerhouse that's going to be defining the meta for months. Months, I tell you, months! Greetings and salutations, my name is Deltran, doing builds for Ike, Brave Mercenary. You and I will go over his matchup, spoilers, they're all good, and a few builds for him and a couple of tweaks for him, but first let's get his digits. So when evaluating raw stats, I like to see 42 hit points or higher, 35 in attacker in speed or higher, 32 in defense and resistance or higher, and ding! Jackpot, 3 out of 5. This is awesome. This made me look at this and go, yeah, maybe he is the second coming. So if you take a look here on Bike, we got ourselves 43 hit points, which is actually really low for an Axe unit. He's pretty much at the bottom whenever you compare him to his contemporaries, and there's lots of bunching up here and there, especially at the top, which is why I'm only showing you 5 instead of 6 in the lineup. Attack-wise, there's a lot of bunching up, but he is at the tippy top here as well, which is great. Speed, 28. It's not great. It's at the bottom. The only person that's really below him is Hawkeye, who will forever be in last place. Sorry. Defensive-wise, I'll show him here as the top, and he is the top if you don't count any special limited edition units that came out during the summer. So if we get rid of them, which you can't pull now anyway, he is the best hero with the highest defense, which is great. Bartra's there, Barst is there, you know, all the heroes that no one else uses are at the top here. So that's actually going to play into some of how we want to play with Ike, because not many people sort of can grasp what's going on because no one uses these types of units very often. Although Ike makes it very, very easy and straightforward. Resistance-wise, yeah, I show you in the middle, but you know, 20's nothing to write home about. Let's just sort of ignore that. It's like whenever you write on your resume that you graduated from college, but you don't actually put your GPA because it's below a 3.0. That's sort of what's going to go on here. As far as his default kit, he comes with his daddy's axe, Urvan. This is really nice. Whenever he takes a consecutive hit with it, not with it, from an enemy while wielding this weapon, he's going to go ahead and just negate 80% of the damage, just right off the bat. All those quad bow builds are going to be really weak. Reinhardt, as if he wasn't already the opposing color, is not going to be really bothering him, even with his 20 resistance. This is wonderful. It also has a killer effect on it, not killer as in cool, killer as in -1 cooldown, and he has Might 16 on it. There's a lot to like about this inherited weapon. Aether is our top skill that we got here, giving us that sweet deduction to resistance and defense whenever we swing, and restoring our hit points whenever we do that too. And of course it's 1 cooldown lower, so it's 4. Seems a little bit weird, but let's go down one step more. Steady breath. This is definitely the powerhouse of Ike. Whenever he's attacked, not when he attacks, when he is attacked, he gets a boost of 4 to his defense, and he has a heavy blade-like effect. His charge cooldown gets an additional tick. So whenever you swing at Brave Ike, he will go ahead and lose not just 1, but 2 off of his special cooldown. That's awesome! Of course, all of the Choose Your Legends heroes have a whole set of skills, so let's take a look at Beorc's Blessing. The translation on this is garbage. I even read that it was garbage, and then I still fell for it. So let me do my own translation for you. When you are fighting flying and cavalry units, they no longer get their own style buffs. This is really great if you're going up against Horsey Emblem and Flyer Emblem that have Blade Tome users. They're not going to be as strong as what they should be. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. That's fantastic. 3 adjectives to describe how great this is. Although, it's, well, I'll hold that thought. Threat and Defense is a C slot. That's great because it gives him that little bit of extra oomph that he may need in order to continue to fight his opponents. Let's take a look at the obituaries. 25-0, yes, 0 in 143 draws, or if he's being attacked, 12-7 and 149. We have a lot of faces there that we are happy to see. There's not a lot though, but they are good ones. And when it comes down to it, any green could do this on initiation. This is not anything great, but it is good to know that yes, we have somebody that could go after Reinhardt, and we already discussed that Reinhardt is not going to be a problem for us, so we have yourselves another Reinhardt counter here. A lot of other mages there, and if they are mounted, once those blade tomes leave people like Nunu and the like and go onto someone else, they're not going to be bothering you much. That's nice. As far as people who punk us down if we go up against them, we have the brand spanking new Brave Roy, we have his dad there, we have his lover there. I think that's all of his relations that are there. We have Athena, too bad no one uses her. Celica, too bad everyone uses her. And of course Sanaki and Hannah is there, everyone's favorite life or death fodder. So let's talk about how to use Brave Ike. Honestly, whenever I first got him, I was not impressed. His stats are great. I was happy with it, but honestly I've been using units similar to this for quite a while now. I had Summer Xander. There's a few other units out there that you could treat similar to this in other colors, like Aboro, believe it or not. Wasn't a revelation to me that you could go ahead and put a high charge special like Ignis or Glacies on someone, have them run at you, and deal with it that way. So whenever I saw Ike, I was almost disappointed because I was hoping for like another powerhouse just like the normal Ike. You could throw him into the middle of the field and you can get upset whenever he loses to the fourth enemy that he runs across. It's disappointing to see Ike like this, although he had an awesome uniform. I like Ike, so you know, I rolled for him and I made sure I got him. Didn't have to wail too hard, thank goodness. But once you get him on the field, he's amazing. There are 2 skills. He has 3 unique skills, but there are 2 of them that are pulling their weight. And of course the first one is his dad's axe, Urvan. Whenever you take consecutive hits, they have to be consecutive, they can't be all over the board, they have to be consecutive, but once you take consecutive hits, you get the 80% rebate on damage. Woo! That's amazing! I love that. That helps his survivability a lot. It keeps him in the field forever. And then, really the star of the show is, what's it called again? Steady Breath. I mean, once you put Steady Breath on him, that's the first thing you need to unlock. It just opens up a world of options, because then Aether becomes useful. And Luna goes off all the time. It's just that revolutionary, and it's inheritable. If you get another one, or if for some reason you don't like Ike, I don't think we could be friends, but you could give it to any other defensive person. That is going to be the staple for what a good enemy phase defensive unit is going to be for a long time. Steady Breath is just that good. So what you do is you put Ike out into the field. You give him a high charge skill, like Aether or something like that. You saw that on initiation he has 0 deaths. Whenever he's initiated on, he has 7. You know it's red. You're not going to throw him up against red, although you can still block many reds. It's just going to spend him very quickly. So what you do is you put him out on the field, you go ahead and let him get hit. He will retaliate the next turn with Threat and Defense put out there, so that's another 5 damage he's getting. He's going to retaliate with that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Aether damage. He's going to recover some hit points. He could keep going and going and going. Now, and if you give him support from, I don't know, Delphia, Olivia, any other that's out there. I mean, any unit loves to have support, but Ike gives you huge returns on the dividends on that. Giving him a huge boost to attack, giving him extra turns, being able to cover up his weaknesses by having a blue mage next to him. You are really, really, really in for a treat if you do that. So go ahead, put Ike out in the middle of the field, let him get punched in the face. He'll still dominate the field just like his sword counterpart does, but in a completely different way, in a way that maybe not many people are really used to playing with, so it's going to even be novel. So go out there, put your Ike out there, and have fun. So now let's talk about some cheap options to upgrade him. He's missing an assist skill, so of course, reposition's my suggestion. You can go swap anybody who's meant to be defensive or enemy phase, who does really well with swap, but those in the know, go with reposition. Otherwise, for the most part, his default kit is just fine. However, he does have the defense that you could put Bonfire or Ignis on him. The reduced cooldown's nice, you're going to see it trigger often, and with such a high defense, it's going to give you some dividends. He has the high enough defense to make Bonfire be slightly better than Luna, and if you don't mind missing out on the hit points, Ignis is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful special to give him instead. There's a lot of different skills you can give him, and I just have one listed here as a substitute C slot. I don't necessarily consider Threat and Defense to be that amazing, although he is an enemy phase hero trying to lure people into him. Putting down that -5, it basically boosts his and everybody else's damage by 5 whenever you go up against those people. But if you want to treat him a little more player phase, maybe something like Savage Blow is going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a quicker boost if you're being a little more aggressive with him. And before we talk about the singular build that I have here for Ike with you, I do want to mention real quick, there's a lot of other skills that will muck up his attack priority. And those are skills like Vantage, Rash Assault, Distant Counter. The deal is with Urvan that if you don't take those hits consecutively, you don't get that 80% deduction. So you know what, with Rash Assault, Ike is amazing. You could do Distant Counter and he does some wonderful things. You could do Vantage and you could just squeak in there and get that hit in before everybody else, and it'll help you out. But for the most part, I don't recommend these for people. If you're sitting there going, what, you're crazy? You probably already have a build in mind. Go ahead and put them on Ike. You're probably going to use them just fine. But if you're sitting there wondering, should I or shouldn't I? The answer is probably you shouldn't. Those really will muck up with how Urvan will stack with everything. So let's take a look at the one build I have for you. 29 wins, 0 losses, 139. Whenever he is initiated on 75, 3, and 90 with Ignis going off, yes, this is just a simple Ignis build, and I put a Savage Blow on there, so if you want to have a little bit of player phase fun, you can. This build is a little nicer if you're doing PvE, and honestly, you could even, I don't have it listed here because it's not a recommendation, but if you're having problems leveling your Ike, you could go ahead and put Poison as the B slot, and it'll help you chew through things a little bit faster. For PvE only. For leveling only. But otherwise, you want to switch out to something like Guard is actually really nice. One problem that units like this have is that while Ike doesn't really suffer from this, he has a wonderful strength, and if you have plus attack, even better, but he doesn't need plus attack, he doesn't need plus speed, but you end up generically accelerating your opponent's specials, and that'll get you into a world of hurt. Guard is there to help slow that down a little bit. In case your Ike is pacing a little slowly, you could go ahead and still make sure that you're doing the job that you need to without unexpectedly getting hit with a gigantic blow, which would definitely end your perfect arena run. Hey, do me a favor, if I give you something to chew on, hit like. If you like your Fire Emblem information hot and fresh like Grandma's cookies, hit subscribe. My name is Deltran. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate all of you. And until next time, take it easy.